Hello and welcome to the Image Rename It walkthrough. In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step walkthrough of how the program works, what all the buttons do that you see across the top of the screen, what the program is for, what it is best used for, setting up the databases if you're going to set up a brand new database from scratch, and several other items. First, what is the program for? Image Rename It is a database set of names that you would use to store these database names. And in this particular case, it's an automotive database. And when you load up a set of images into the program, you can just click on the names that you want and rename those images, and then it will take those images and send them to a destination folder. And all of that will be explained as we move on. So let's get started. When you first download and install the program, you're going to get the demo version of it. And the first thing that's going to happen when you open the program is it's going to come up with a requester asking you to purchase the unlock key to it. You can get around that easy just by clicking on the Go to Program button. You'll see it pops up as soon as the program loads up. And from there, we will move on and get into the program, and I'll show you how everything works. So now let's move into the program, showing you the basic overall of the buttons and how to load things and how things work and where things are at. As you can see, the program loads up with a series of buttons across the top here. You can click on them. Nothing's going to happen at all with any of these buttons. They're all pretty much just ghosted out. So what you have to do when the program first loads is load up an image directory. And we're going to just load up a walk through here, set of images, and at that point your buttons become active. So when you click on any of these buttons across the top of the screen, you'll notice that they change color. So at a glance you can tell what button you're in at the top, but it also tells you over here what that button is that's lit up. So if I hit interior, you'll notice this here changed to interior. If I hit electric, this changes to electric. Now this column over here, the names list, nothing happens yet until you press one of the buttons below your main one, and then everything in the right column loads up. So the way that it works, if I click on the very first image in here, you'll see that it's got the Sam_4705. That's the name the camera gave that image, and it's going to be the same for each image as you click through them. Now you can also go right and left by pressing the two arrow keys to scroll through. The thumbnails at the bottom allow you to skim through all of the images in the folder that you just loaded, so you can see them pretty readily, pretty quickly. And when you get in here, the next thing that you're going to do is familiarize yourself where things are in the database. For example, the overall button at the very top will load up 3 things that are in this database. And, of course, you can add to this all you want with these buttons down here. But if you press your 4 corners, since this is an automotive database and it's written basically for insurance use, but that's not the extent of the program. It can be used for anybody who takes a large number of images and has to rename those images with the same names all the time, over and over again. So basically this is for body shops and insurance companies, insurance appraisers. The way that the database that you see here says automotive database under Image Rename It. That's how the program is set up right now. That's what it was originally designed for, but it can be used for anything, anyone who wants to do a number of things. So in here in our very first tab overall, there are just 3 sections in here, ID, different things, miscellaneous that an appraiser would use. Going into the body tab, you got front bumper, grille, fender, inner front, front inner, apron and core support, and all the inner parts on the front of a car. Your doors, your hood, basically unrelated priors, notations for the appraiser to say that okay, this or that isn't related to the damages, the new damages on that particular vehicle. But going through the top buttons and the first subheading or subset of buttons, and then the names list buttons, you're going to run through a number of different things. So, for example, if you're looking for tires and wheels, they're going to be under mechanical. So if you click on that and then come over and click on any one of these, you're going to find your suspension parts, your tires and wheels, your drive line, transfer case, transmissions, miscellaneous thing, exhaust and stuff is going to be under here. Then interior, everything under the interior button, you're going to have your seats and your door panels and so on. And all of these things are not too hard to figure out, not too hard to kind of get a feel for it pretty quickly. Now, electric and lighting, that's where you're going to find all your headlights, you know, halogens and LEDs, light bars, fog lamps, wire harness damages, sensors. Now, some people will, if they go into body and they hit front bumper, they're going to want to have a sensor in here, and there, of course, is one in here. So some of the items in the database are a little bit redundant, and some of them are not. So as you go through, and then we have big rigs, which is just a very minimal set of stuff under big rigs here. It's basically a primer just to get someone started if they pretty much do a lot of big rigs. What you will notice when you first get into the program and you start pressing on the buttons here, like I'm going to press on wheels, I'm in a mileage image here, and if I press on mileage at the bottom, it gives me back the SAM underscore 4705. But as soon as I press wheels, you'll notice that the camera image name disappears. And if I press one of these over here, it will rename that, and then it will send it on to the destination folder. And that leads us to the destination folder. So we loaded up our source folder here, and get that in the screen here. And now we need to load up our destination folder. So this is important when it comes to doing the annotations. And the annotations button is this button right here. It doesn't have anything written on it. It's just a little square button. But when you press this button, it gives you another screen. And you're going to want to probably enlarge this so you can see it a little bit better. And in this screen, you can put annotations on the screen. Now, in here, you've got arrows, squares, and circles, and then you've also got a color requester. So you can pick any color you want for that circle, square, whatever it is. And there's also line width. You've got a 1/4 point, 2 point, or 2 1/4 point, and 6 point. And any one of these can be used. So when you select this, you selected your color in here, and as soon as you select one of these, it all changes to that color. Now there's 3 ways you can work with this little requester here. You can move it out of your way any way you want. You can do that, and it will go out of the way as soon as you click on the window here. And if I wanted to put an arrow in here, I can do that. And you can click on that and highlight that arrow, and then once you get crosshairs, you can take that arrow or that circle or that square and you can resize them. You can do a lot of different things. You can move them around, you can spin them around on the screen. It's pretty basic, pretty minimal the way that this works. And then when you pull your requester back up again, if you change the color of that and press OK, and as soon as you press on the screen, it changes what color you had to the new color that you just selected. Now every time you press this button down here, the color and width, it's going to open up another requester each time. So one of the best ways to work with a requester is to close out of it while you're working in the screen, and then you can come in here and just do whatever you want. You grab a hold of one, you can resize it, you can spin it around, and you can delete them. So to get rid of them, there's 2 ways. One, you right click and just select delete. The other is to hit the X in the top right hand corner of the screen, and that image will close without saving it. So once you have your annotations in here, whatever it is that you want to point out in your image, you come down here and you hit save. And when that happens, it drops you back into the screen, and this is no longer editable. You can no longer come in here and do anything with that. It's part of that image. It saved it in there. I can't highlight it. There's nothing I can do. It is just part of that image. So if you change your mind during the process and you don't want that there, don't hit save. Just hit the X. It'll back you out, and you've got nothing. So that is the annotation portion of it, where you can change the width of the lines in it. You can do circles. You can do a number of different things in here. And just to give you an example, I will select 2.4 and we'll change the color to green. We're going to draw this out, and we get a little circle. So when we grab this, we can change the size. So you can play around with it any way you want. You can move it around the screen. You can say, I want to highlight that number 7 with that circle around there. The one that we saved in red is unaffected. That nothing happens there. So I don't want to save that. I just want to get out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the X in the upper right hand corner, and I drop back to the same screen that I had before, and that circle is gone. The annotation that we saved to the picture is not really saved to the picture as per se. If we go into the folder that has that picture, the originating folder, and we open that picture up, we see that there is no arrow on that image. However, in the program, we see that the arrow is still here. It will become permanent on the picture as soon as we use the far right names list. Now, as we've seen here, we're going to go back to overall. Since this is an ID for our mileage, we're going to wipe out the camera name. We're going to put in ID, and we're going to select mileage. However, we have already selected our output folder, which is required. If you do not select the output folder, you cannot use the annotations button. It won't open. If you happen to get in the program, this is one of the do's and don'ts. But anyway, that's just something to keep in mind. You cannot open this button. So if you come in here and you forget about that and you're hitting this button, you can be hitting it all day long. Nothing's going to happen until you select the destination folder, and that activates this button. So since we have the source directory and the destination directory, we're in our ID for mileage. I can hit mileage and then come over to the destination folder, and our red arrow got saved in the image. Okay, and then if we go back to our source folder and click on that same image, you'll notice there's no arrow. The arrow has been left out. Okay, but in the destination folder, the arrow is there. So that's another way to keep a clean image if you wanted to keep one. That's not crucial. Anyway, let's move on to the next portion. The next thing that the program will do is it will append a number to the end of each image in the same folder, as long as there's the same name used in that image. For example, let's say we've got 4 corners, and this image here is right rear corner all. I'm going to press that, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one here. I'm going to use the same, even though this is not the right side, this is the left. I'm going to use right rear corner all, and then I'm going to go to my destination folder, and we put those 2 images in here, 4 corners, right rear corner all. This is the right side. However, you notice the second image is the exact same name, 4 corners, right rear corner all, but it has a number 2 appended to it. And if you're using the destination folder as the same as the source folder, what will happen is all of your appending numbers in your source folder will climb. Okay, let's say you've got 2 cars in here, and you're renaming the right rear corner like this image is here, and then maybe you've got another vehicle in here as well, and you're doing the right rear corner, say like this pickup truck here, which is not in the, oh, here it is, right rear corner here. If you were going to do this pickup truck and you did those two images, so you got right rear corner all with no appending number, and then the next one's going to be number 2, and then if you did this pickup truck, it's going to be number 3 at the end of the name once you rename that within the program. So the program will append them with a trailing number at the very end, and it's important that it does that because Windows does not allow the program to have the same name in the same folder, so the appending number is a necessary thing. It has to be there on those images. Also, on the appending numbers, that is the reason that you use separate folders for your output as opposed to your input. And what will happen here, if you're working on more than one vehicle, like we have in this open window, we've got a pickup truck and a car here. If you're working on a different vehicle, say 2 or 3, maybe you've got 7 or 8 cars, it's hard to say, and you don't want those appending numbers to be building up like that, your destination folder is where you change that. So you're working on car XYZ, and let's say that's our Toyota that we have in there, and then you're going to move on to car ABC. So when you're done with XYZ car and you come back to your desktop, you've got 2 things here. You can click on desktop, you can add a new folder in here, rename that folder to whatever you want by right-clicking on it if it goes away like mine just did. And let's just put XYZ folder, and we're going to select that folder as our next destination output. And on this pickup truck, we've got our 4 corners, and we're just going to, well, actually, we've got our just front overall. Let's just call it right corner damages. Basically, this is an overall image, but it's kind of back a little ways from the vehicle, so you can see the whole front nose. So in here, down at the bottom, we have also got right, left, front, and rear. So we're going to hit right, and it's going to put that RT on our image. You know, even though we're in 4 corners, we could be in anything. We could be in ID and hit right, and it will put ID right. We could put anything in here that we want. I could put center, I can put left, I can put front, and if I want to clear them out, all of these I don't like them there. I can do this. I can wipe them out this way by hitting the backspace key after highlighting them, or I can put a few things back in there and then just click on the image again, and it takes you right back to the camera name. So that is just one more feature that the program has that allows you to do certain things quickly and easily. There's a time study video in the tutorials page that you can click on. You can get to the tutorials page by clicking this link under the help. It'll take you right to it. And then in that time study, we show that how much time it takes to manually rename an image if you're going to rename them, and how fast it is to rename them using this program. And another advantage to the program here, while I'm on that subject, is the ability to continually use the same names over and over. So you get a consistency in there, and you don't have to type anything. You have that consistency. So if we got right front corner, you come into your overall, you hit your 4 corners, etc., etc., etc. Another feature of the program is you can rename more than one image in you've got one image here, but you can use it multiple times. And when it goes into the destination folder, instead of having 4 images like you originally had, you can have 6 or 8 of the same spot. And here's an example. So we got 4 corners. We're going to do right front corner all. Then we're going to back up here to our front bumper. So we've got our name. As you back up, we can see that. We said, well, we want to do something different also on that. We've got front bumper damages here. So what I want to do, you may not have to reopen this or slide this window open, but then again you may have to. I want to point out something here, and I just want to draw a circle around something. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to put me a circle right here. Okay, so we've now got, if you double click, you're going to get another circle. So when you click inside the circle, you're going to highlight the circle. If you click outside of it and you've got an arrow or whatever it is you have, you're going to get another one. So you just have to keep that in mind, and we don't want that. So now I can say I want to keep that, and I want to go back into body. I want to go to front bumper, and I want to go to right side front bumper damages. Okay, so now we go to our XYZ folder, and we have our front bumper, and we have our highlighted damages here in our circle. And we also have the one that we took that was named a little bit different. It says 4 corners, right front corner, all JPEG. And our next image, it doesn't say that anymore. It now says front bumper, right front bumper damages, JPEG. So you could take the same image and snapshot it several times and do different things with it and add more images to your destination folder without having to actually physically take other pictures. So it's just another feature that's in the program. So now from that point, we're going to move on to something just a little bit different now. The next part of the program is the database. Adding to it, creating a whole new database, editing the database that's here, deleting the database if you want to. Don't recommend that unless you absolutely do not need, say, the automotive database. But anyway, the first thing I want to show you here is there's a plus sign in the right-hand side here, and what that does is it will pop up with that little 13, and then it will pop up, and we're going to just put just test on that, and we're going to hit save, and you notice we have the word test with a new button. Under that, there's absolutely nothing here. So you can right-click on that button, rename it if you want to, from whatever it is to something new, or you can do a bulk add. And in the bulk add, I can put in here test number, test 1, let's say test 2, and test 3, and hit save. Now don't hit save twice, because if you do it'll duplicate. And then after you hit save, you hit the X and then hit test again, and now you've got your 3. And you can do the very same thing in here as you did up here. You can right click and you can bulk add if you want to bulk add. So we're going to do tester 1 and tester 2. Just save those two, close out of that, select that again, and those 2 items are under that one. And the same thing for each of the others. Now, if you're in any one of these tabs here and you want to add a single, you just select single, and we will put test 4 in there, and we will save it. We will go back and press test 3, and test 4 shows up in the right hand side. Now if you're in your test database, when you select this and you do not select any of these and you want to add a single, you hit subtab. Okay, so this is editing the database, this is adding to it, this is subtracting from it, whatever it is you want to do. And I'm going to put just the word junk in here, save that, press the word test again, and our junk shows up. And you can go on and on and on and continue to add all kinds of things to the database. Now there is one other way to add to the database. So we're going to select a different vehicle. We're going to select junk. We're going to wipe out the word junk over here, and we're going to write just total loss. Now, we want to save this, okay? And we've got junk highlighted. We come down here to our designation and we press Add to Names List. Then we come back up here and we press junk again, and we now have total loss. And if we select our left side tabs, it's going to give us junk. And we also want to hit total loss, we can do that. Okay, going into our destination folder of XYZ, we now have junk total loss in that folder. So that's how the database gets stored. There is a database that can be viewed in the program, but you are not to edit anything from within that database. If you do, you're going to break the database, because the program adds certain things into that database when you're adding your names and stuff from here. And if you go in there and manually try to edit that database, which is a Microsoft Access file, you're going to break it. It's not going to work for you. So now, the next portion of this, you want to create a brand new database. Now, I'm going to go hit select open here, and you notice there's only one database in here. That's the automotive. Okay, that's the database that's open here. You want to create a brand new one, a personalized, something of your own. You come in here and you type in here whatever it is that you want for a name. And I'm just going to put data 2 in there, and I'm going to save that. And you notice our screen completely cleared. All the tabs across the top completely went away. So now you come in here and you start adding. Let's put DB tester, and we're going to save that. Now we've got DB tester, and underneath that we want to add something. We can come in here and do our bulk on this, and we're going to put DB2 so that we have that saved. So we've created another database, DB tester number 2. You can press on this all day long and nothing's going to happen. You can go into the bulk add and add additional, but there's already a couple in there. However, what you have to do next is you have to load, and we're just going to load this one here, some images into the program. Then when you hit DB tester, you're going to get your database is going to come up. And you notice at the top, we named it DB2. So our automotive database is gone. It now says DB2. So now we want to go back in and we want to open our automotive. We now have 2 databases in here. We have DB2 and we have our automotive. We select it, and we can't select anything until we select a directory. And once we do that, everything is back right where it was. So you can create your own database. Your name for your database is going to show up here. And you can create all the tabs you want for that database. And let's go back to our DB2. We're going to add another one to it. And we're going to do bald eagles. Let's capitalize the E, make it look a little better. And we're going to save that, and our bald eagles comes up. We load up some images into here. And we have bald eagles. We can do our bulk add on this, or I can press it here and I can do submenu here, and I'll just put birds for now. I press bald eagle again, I got birds. I can add a subname to it. Say bird bath. something a little comical here. So anyway, we've got our bird bath here. We've got a brand new database. And you can go on and on and on and do that. So now you can close the database as well. So what happens here is the database that you're open, database 2, when you select that, if it's open here, you cannot delete it. Now the program does not just close the database, it deletes it. Everything to do with it. And I'm not going to do that right now. what you have to do is go in here and open another database, and then you can go back and close your DB2, and it will delete that. So now, and it even tells you in the program that it was deleted, so if you want to go back and open DB2, it is now gone. So that's where how the program works. You notice it still says bald eagles up here, but all we have to do is load up something different, and that will pretty much take care of that. And now it goes back to our overall, our four corner stuff, etc. One final aspect on the databases, you can rename any one of these anywhere. You can right click on it and hit rename. It will come up and then allow you to update that name. You can do that with any of these. You can just hit the rename, type in whatever it is that you want, and that will replace the wording in that button. Another interesting thing to point out the program does is if you're out and about and you happen to pick up a file and you stick it in your camera to bring back to the office, like you see here, we have a Word file. Maybe you picked up a PDF of an estimate or something, or whatever it might be, and you're storing it on your camera's SD card. So the program will ignore these files. If it's a PDF or a Word file or any text file, anything like that, it will ignore them. So if we come down here to the program, we've got a couple of different images in here. These are pictures of some text. So like this here, there's a picture of this, picture of that. And you can see in down here, we can scroll through this, and we're never going to pick up that Word file. It's never going to show up in here at all. It just isn't there. Even though it's in the same folder, the program will ignore anything other than image files like JPEGs, PNGs, and so on. The next part of the program is deactivation. If you have activated the program, you've put your key into the program, and you've got your activation key here. What you would do if you're going to move to another computer and you're going to not use this computer anymore, you need to come in here and deactivate that key. Okay, so when you deactivate that key, the program will revert back to a demo, and you're going to move to another program or another computer. Let's say that's what you're doing. You bought a new computer, or you moved from office to home, or vice versa, whatever. But you've got your key. You've got your license key. So you can activate your license key in here. Now these are ghosted out. So there's a purchase key, which will take you to the website to get your key for the program, and then there's the activate product. So you would activate it here, and you would deactivate it from over here. Even though there's an activation here and there's a key underneath that, it is not what you use to activate it. You use this button here to activate the program. So that is an important thing to know. If you're going to move from one computer to another, if you do not deactivate this product on the old computer, somebody else will be able to use it under your license key, and you won't be able to use that key on the new computer. So you have to deactivate it here first, then move to the new computer and get your key, and put the key into the program on the new computer again. Now, if you lose your key, you can always go back to the website right here. And by clicking on this, it will probably take you to the CAC appraisals, but there's a couple of different buttons here and there. In version 2, we will change this so that it'll take you right to the key page or right to your account page, because when you purchase the key, you created an account and your key is stored on the server, so you can easily go back and retrieve that key at any time. That is one of the things that we're going to change in version 2 of this, which is going to come out here sometime in the near future. On the databases, again, there's a do's and don'ts, kind of a section here. It's not real long, it's pretty brief. Never use a slash. If you create a new folder, a set of names or something, let's just say armor. I'm going to put a slash on it. Fender, and I'm going to put that slash in there. And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to select that. So we've got armor slash fender. And when you press on it, you're going to get an error. Okay? You do not use a slash. That is one of the only things in the program that has any kind of a issue to it. So what I'm going to do is I will take the slash out, armor, and put fender in here. No slash. I'm going to update that, press ID again, and now when I press it, it works. So that's one of the don'ts. You don't do that in the program. And I'm going to get rid of that one because I didn't care for that. At this point, I think you're going to have a pretty good understanding of how the program works, where everything is at, how to get around in it. A little bit of playing with the program will get you up to speed really quick. And like I said earlier, the main thing is, where are things in the database? Do I want those things, something under, say, unibody or conventional frame? Do I want something else here? Do I want to move something from body to someplace else? Like, for example, we've got hail here, and there's a number of things. So maybe we want to put something else in here as well, and that's easy enough to do anywhere along the way. So by clicking on that one, you can click on the subfolder. You can put anything you want in here. You can select your hail. You can go back to your test. You can get rid of test, which we're going to do right now. We don't want that there anymore. And that about wraps it up. That's the extent of the program, how easy it is. Watch the video on our tutorials page about the time study of how fast you can move around and get things renamed and basically get your images with a consistent naming sequence to them. And that's important. I think the insurance companies are probably going to like that a lot as far as, let's say, the four corners. Okay, we got right front corner, left front corner, etc., etc., etc. That is a consistent way to do stuff. Or if you're in your body, in front bumper, maybe ground effects, you know. And of course, we can go back to your right front, left front, right rear, center. And there's a couple of more videos to watch on some of this that were earlier videos than this one here. But this video is the basic overview of the program in a nutshell of how it works and how to find everything in it, how to get around. And you'll quickly understand it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy, it's pretty straightforward. There is a version 2.0 that's going to come in the near future here, and it's going to have a couple of new features in it that this program doesn't yet have. And when that comes out, it'll be just a free update to you. No problem with that. So, you know, if you like the program, give us a thumbs up. Thanks.